Happy Friday, traders. It is 8:02 a.m. on Friday, the 23rd of July, 2021. This is episode number 2014. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, we're looking at a market that is risk on in sentiment. The S&P has pushed us close to its all-time highs, which are at 43.84.50 in the September contract. The leaders today are the Europeans. The Euro Stoxx 50 and the DAX lead the pack, up 1.12% and 0.96% on good news out of Germany. Also, a lot of support from the ECB. And so from there, we see allocation come out of the treasuries and into indices, and therefore risk on sentiment across the board. So that's the bottom line. The cryptos are still gyrating sideways. As far as earnings this morning, all we have is Honeywell. Honeywell announced pre-open. Came in at $2.02 earnings per share versus 1.94, a very small surprise there. Not much else is anticipated in the high importance category. What's on the calendar? The only number we have is at 9:45. We're looking for the U.S. market manufacturing PMI flash, composite and services. That's 9:45 Eastern. And what is the market paying attention to? Mainly earnings. The market has gained about 1% for the week. But overall, we are paying attention to earnings. ECB's dovish remarks. ECB says that it's not going to taper its buying program, and it's not going to do anything with interest rates for a while. There's still the deposit rate still at negative 50 basis points. Germany also reported, as I said, strong growth in one of their numbers this morning. So that's where we stand. The S&P is showing a multi-distribution profile. It's got a two-distribution profile, but has only traded 126,000 contracts. The inventory is 70% long. The range is about 16 points, and the point of control is at 43.80, and there's a little bit to say about that. I'm going to keep this Trader Bite very, very short today, so I'm going to be kind of talking fast somewhat. So here's what was expected yesterday. The expectation was for a pullback to as far as 41 here, the overnight point of control. And then I was looking for it to turn around, and I explained yesterday that there's a high probability of a choppy trade coming into yesterday's session, and we definitely got that. The target being 71, even 71 is the MC point of control. Guess what? It didn't get it during the cash session. It got it immediately after the cash session was closed. The high yesterday, the technical high for the session yesterday, 71.50, that occurred in the last it's in the very last 30-minute bracket right against the close, and it exceeded the 41.71. So it technically got the 71 target by 2 ticks. Again, 71.50 is yesterday's high versus 71, but it got it way after the close, after Intel and Twitter reported. So mission accomplished here on scenario 1. We pulled back to 44 instead of 41. Actually, no, we did pull back to 41. I'm sorry. Pulled back to 41.50. So here are the numbers to remember. 41 on the low, 71 on the high. Here's what we've got. This is yesterday's action here. 4-tick Renko. Opened right at 43.52, pushed to 55, pull to 45, push to 55, pull to 44, so lower, slightly lower high by a tick, lower low by a point, consolidate, very choppy, finally pushes to 58.50, still no man's land. And remember, 71 is way up here. And it takes a dive into 41.50 against that 41 anticipated low. So it missed it by 2 ticks, and then it makes a strong run up in the afternoon during the quiet time to 62.25. Doesn't quite get to 71. However, when we look at what occurred after the close, so here's your 41.50. And here's the 71.50. It is outside of the cash session. It's not quite in today's session, but it's outside of the cash session, and we had the market didn't quite respond to the Intel announcement itself. It was surprisingly quiet for such an important stock, but it ended up running up just after and into the close. Pretty solid push higher into the close. And since then, the Asian session comes in and just trades sideways for hours and hours and hours. Here's the European session starting. Asian session, very quiet, and then it starts to drift up, and we end up with a double distribution profile, multi-distribution profile with 75-ish being the low volume node. So 75 today is a price to pay attention to. We're trading at 78 currently. 75 has the LVN, the overnight LVN, mid, and VWAP all in one place. This is the early test area. The point of control is just above a 43.80. The high is 43.83, so quite consolidated area. My expectation is we would test the 41.71 from above in today's action. So I'm looking for this thing to chop sideways in an open auction out of range, and I'm expecting it to be responsive, somewhat responsive, at least into 71 before it decides to push higher. Again, the overnight low is 67.25. And yesterday's cash high is 62.25. So there's a 5-point gap between the low and yesterday's high. And currently there's about a 16-point gap from where we are to yesterday's gap zone high, or the external gap high. So that's where we stand. The overnight session had some pretty decent strength in it. Again, we missed the all-time high by about 1.5 points in the overnight session. Okay, so given that we are at the butt end of the week, let's take a look. Let's adjust this for a second. Let's take a look at what the market has done so far. So here's the dip, new all-time high last week. Nice little dip all the way down to 42.24. And then we have a nice little run up. This is the 71 right here. And we are trading above it at 78. So this is a typical kind of, we've been doing this a while, where we just look like we're dropping out, and then we run right back. It's been a very consistent process. We're starting to see that the range is dropping, volume's dropping, the VIX is probably dropping. VIX is probably dropping as well, and overall the shorts are in trouble, which I talked about since Tuesday. I said the shorts are likely very much in trouble today, this for the rest of the week, and 71 being the key target here, and here we are. So What are we looking for in terms of today's activity? Let's move into our expectations segment. Yeah, if the video's blurry, that's a bandwidth issue. You'll want to manually select 1080p for your resolution by hitting the settings cog at the bottom. Okay, so here's what we've got for today. Let's pull up our primary scenario. Wow, this is really tiny, isn't it? Primary scenario, so we're looking for 1 vol sigma, 2 vol sigma. Okay. So this morning, open auction out of range, expecting it to be responsive. I'm looking for it to push into the 71 key area down here, push into 71, consolidate. I expect it to spend an extended amount of time consolidating before it grinds its way to 84.50 for new all-time highs, into 43.90. Looking for it to top out at 90, come back and finish with a whimper. Okay. Secondary, open auction, pullback, attempt to push higher, unable, and then start working itself down into the 62.25. So this 262.25 down here. Consolidate, dip right in for the settlement price at 59. The point of control as well in that area. Consolidate down here and come back up and close sideways. In either case, we'll end up with a higher high, higher low, and it sets us up for a new high on Monday. Okay, so those are the two main ideas for today. We do have a gap. Gap rules apply. What does that mean? It means we need to pay attention to see, is it a gap and go situation? Is it a market that is unable to revert to the prior auction, which is down at 43.60? If it's not able to revert to the prior auction, you're looking long side only in that situation. You're not trying to fight a rally. It's easy to get into this mindset of fighting a rally. You can find many excuses that the market shouldn't be where it is, but that's not up to us to decide. We're just surfers. We don't make the waves. So knowing that it might open up and it's not able to become responsive is a huge clue to shut off the short side, which gives us clarity and gives us focus of purpose in finding good areas to lean against to get long. What does that mean, good areas to lean against to get long? It's too long an explanation for right now, but you always want something to back you up. When I'm trading long, I want something beneath the price that I'm buying to back it up. If I'm trading short, I'm looking for something above the price I'm selling to back me up. I don't want to get short and then have the market very easily drive right through my stop. That doesn't make sense. And you don't rely on the bids and offers in the DOM to determine that. You're relying on prior auction areas. This is why I don't like new all-time highs, because it doesn't give you any detail on what's going on in the auction. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, it is Friday. I would appreciate it, by the way, I haven't asked you this in a while. I'd appreciate it if you take a moment to go to YouTube, click on the YouTube link. If you're not on YouTube, and hit the like button. It might ask you to log in to your Gmail account, but I'd appreciate you doing that. It helps others find the channel, okay? Good luck, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Take care.